going to talk about sugar dating now. It's 7:40 on Monday morning. Sugar dating. Well, the Urban Dictionary describes it as this: when a young woman or man is financially pampered or cared for by a sugar daddy or sugar mama in exchange for companionship. Now, two of the main online networks advertising this type of dating in the UK say there has been a rise in registrations, particularly among students. Rich Meets Beautiful say they have over 600,000 people from the UK on their site. 63% of them are students. And Seeking.com claims to have 123,000 members who are students as well. The BBC, I should say, has no way of verifying these figures. Our reporter, Rory Carson, has been speaking to people who use some of these websites. Melanie, that's not her real name, currently looking for a sugar daddy, and she revealed some of the messages she's received.
I'm looking to find a girl I can really connect with and develop a friendship with. It'll be something like just a few times a month, and of course you'll have great company, conversations, get sport, etc. But I hope it doesn't offend you to mention that. Although I don't expect on the first date the relationship should include intimate time too, I just want to ask if that's something you'll be okay with. In terms of allowance, I'll give you 400 each time we meet. Sorry that sounds so transitional, but I'm sure everything else about meeting will be more natural and easygoing.
What are your first thoughts whenever you read that, especially about the intimate side of the potential relationship?
Looking at him, I'm not attracted to him, so I think I would struggle to have an intimate relationship with him. But I don't know, it depends. If I meet him and there's a connection, then it's natural. Otherwise, I think I would just have to close my eyes.
What do you mean, close your eyes?
You know when somebody says, I'll put a bag over the head? Well, I wouldn't obviously put a bag over his head, but I would probably as like an expression, close my eyes, or just go with emotions.
It's quite shocking.
Yeah, it's quite bad really, isn't it?
Well, we'll talk to a couple of people who have views on this. Sigurd Vidal, CEO of Rich Meets Beautiful, one of those online websites, and in a moment to Dr. Sasha Rakoff, who's from a campaign which has been set up to try to stop the porn and sex trade being normalised. Sigurd Vidal, good morning.
Good morning.
Overwhelmingly, people contacting our programme this morning have said this is kind of posh prostitution.
Well, I think Rich Meets Beautiful is a platform, and like all other dating sites, there are cautious methods of dating, and you have to be careful. Either you're on Instagram, either you're on any of the social medias out there. What we do provide is more a transparent way of setting together a relationship, because any relationship is still a form of transaction. You're fulfilling each other, and you're fulfilling a range of matching criterias. The same goes for Rich Meets Beautiful. So to narrow it down to two individual portions, which is then the sexual part and the financial part, is not really the correct interpretation of what Rich Meets Beautiful is offering.
Okay.
What we're offering is basically a platform where people match on a range of criteria, but yes, you will have the lifestyle aspect included. Yes,
but it seems to me that may be the way you present yourselves on the surface, but actually everyone engaged in it knows exactly what it's all about. And let's not be naive about this.
At least I'm speaking on behalf of Rich Meets Beautiful. We're very strict on our community being a safe and respectful, mutually respectful area. We have very strict terms of agreement, which clearly specify that any form of prostitution, any form of discussing sex, remuneration, etc., is basically prohibited. And we have alert systems, we have teams monitoring and working on the site to ensure that these terms are upheld.
So are you saying that you don't believe that your clients are effectively paying for sex?
Well, I believe that on any social platform, there are people. I mean, look at my Instagram. I'm getting offers in that range as well. It doesn't mean that Instagram is a prostitution site. You know, any place you go online, there's an easier way for people to be direct. There's an easy way for people to basically communicate negative things as well. So I think any platform, all we can do really, either your Instagram, Facebook, or Rich Meets Beautiful, is have clear terms, make the rules really clear, and then do our best to ensure that our clients are kept safe.
I have to say, my Instagram has none of that and must be extremely dull in comparison to yours. Can I ask who your typical client is? It's not always rich older men looking for younger women, is it? But there are women as well who use the site as clients looking for younger men.
Well, I mean, we don't define kind of what people are looking for. We allow them to have the right to kind of define their relationship criterias. And the key word here is criterias, right? Because the people you're talking about here, they have the pick and choose in a sense. You know, the men are successful, the men have resources, they're handsome. Not everybody, of course, but there's a range of qualities that are attracted to women on our site. The same goes for the women. The women that are joining so-called sugar babies is the label that some people call them. I would just call them basically women looking for their match. They're looking because they have a range of criteria. They're not looking specifically for only the financial aspect. They're looking for the appearance, they're looking for the personality, they're looking for the intellect. And yes,
and
lifestyle is part of the game.
Okay, let me ask Dr. Sasha Rakoff from Not Buying It to respond to all of this. What did you make of that?
Oh, well, I'm glad that most people think this is posh prostitution, because it does sound just one step up from a escort agency, to be honest. And it just seems astonishing we're having this conversation in 2018. It's like Me Too and Time's Up has never happened. So basically you have a pool of kind of Harvey Weinsteins, very rich, entitled older men who are shopping for young women who are, in these times of austerity, particularly concerned about poverty or going into poverty. A lot of them have student debts. And the whole basis of it is that these are beautiful young women, of course, who are there to be shopped for and meet wealthy men. It's about the exchange of money, whether or not they're sexual services is another issue. But I mean, my main message is you're putting yourself at risk if you do this.
But I guess the question is, where does the power lie now?
The power's with the money, isn't it?
Well, maybe you're in a sense disempowering women by assuming that they're the ones being exploited in this relationship. Maybe there are young women out there who think, I want a certain lifestyle. I want opportunities to go and experience a life that would otherwise be inaccessible to me. If this daft old man is prepared to give me money and I'm quite happy to have sex with him, it doesn't really bother me, then that is to my advantage and I'll take the opportunity. The power is potentially with her then, isn't it?
Then it's exploitation either way. This is not a healthy relationship. And I think a lot of women
two people getting what they want out of it, isn't it?
Well, no, not necessarily. I think women would much rather have the power themselves. Why should we have to get it off men? We should be the ones who are making enough money that we can set our own criteria. We can have the lifestyle we want. I also think you're putting yourself at real risk. These are often very entitled men. If you're not sexually attacked by them, there's still this element of coercion. A lot of women who've used these sites feel that you're kind of worn down. You feel like, oh, he's spending all this money on me. Maybe I should sleep with him. So one way or the other, there's very likely to be sex involved, which isn't necessarily fully consensual.
The experiences of certainly some of the women that we spoke to, that Rory, our reporter, spoke to, were that this has been a fantastic means for me to sort of transition me through my student years into my career. It has, as I mentioned, given me opportunities I wouldn't have otherwise have had, helped me enormously financially, and hasn't had any kind of particular negative impact on my life. And is there a way that you can celebrate that at all?
No, I don't think so. Either way, even if there hasn't been any risk to you and you haven't felt you've had to have sex with somebody, it's still a totally fake relationship. The men, no doubt, want somebody who acts rather dumb, who's massaging their ego, hanging on their every word, just as with lap dancing clubs, where lap dancers spend a lot of time having to talk to men.
But doesn't that happen in real life anyway? Aren't some marriages based on those kinds of transactional relationships?
Well, no, I don't think you can call this the same as a marriage, and that's not how it should be. While we have things like this and while we're celebrating them, when we're saying it's okay, we're never going to have relationships that aren't like that. No relationship should be like that. And that's what we should be striving for, not allowing these sorts of sites that are based on that kind of fake, false, and potentially very dangerous relationship.
Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Sasha Rakoff. If I can come back to Sigurd Vidal one more time, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
From Rich Meek Beautiful. I don't know if you have children yourself or nieces, nephews.
Of course I have 3 children, but...
would you like one of your children to sign up to this?
These statements.
Yeah, well, okay, but can I just ask, would you like any of your children to sign up to a website such as yours?
Of course. I mean, I teach my children that have respect for yourself. You know, find a relationship and find friendships and find people in your life that is based on respect. And I mean, this is what we're striving. And what's happening is people are taking assumptions and they're taking labels and they're comparing a service where you go out and pay money to have sex with a foreign person you've never met for 1 hour or a day to a relationship. And those are two different beasts, and you can't even compare them. So on Rich Meet Beautiful, we're striving for mutual, respectful relationships that are based, yes, on the lifestyle. They're also based on including sex, like any marriage, like any relationship is. But to narrow it down through these assumptions, through society, it's just labels, and usually done by people who have no clue about how our service works. They haven't even tried it. So, I mean, of course, there are negative stories by people. We receive complaints and we deal with them quite quickly. But remember that the community is our product. We have nothing to gain from a girl or from a man being exploited or being, how shall I say, negatively experienced. It's our product. We do our best to make sure that they're finding what they're looking for. And if two people find the love they seek, then
love,
for me, that's happiness.
Is that what it is? Just a final thought. Is it generally love? Is that what comes out of this?
I mean, yes, we have received people who've met each other and gotten married. We've received people who send us thank you notes that have brought them together. And many people think it's liberating to be able to discuss the financial part and the lifestyle part of the relationship instead of going on a normal dating site. And then they have to see, and then down the line, it turns out that there's a mismatch or something that is not functioning.
Thank you very much. You put the case to Gerd Vidal from CEO of Rich Meet Beautiful, and you heard also from Dr. Sasha Rakoff from Not Buying It, which is a campaign set up to try to stop the porn and sex trade being normalised. And I'm sure you have your own thoughts on all of that as well, which you can share with us at BBC 5 Live on social media.
Is it the price we pay for a free society or not? Jess, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's talk about a couple of other things.